Hello, everybody, and welcome to another round of Ready to Amplify, the interview series where we connect with amazing women and the insights and lessons they've learned as they amplify into a bigger Oh, you know what? It's live, Lynn. I can't even talk today.
I love it.
So they amplify by stepping into a bigger spotlight and making a bigger impact with visibility and momentum. So I'm here today on my right with Lynn Pelzer. Lynn, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Leigh. It's fun to be together again on live on something. So that's awesome. Thanks.
I love it. Technology is amazing. We're about 2 or 3 hours apart, maybe less than that, but it just fast brings us together and a little tongue-tied. We usually do some of these in the morning, and I've been doing a lot of lives lately, which is really exciting and a little tongue twisted. But I want to introduce those that are watching right now. I want to share with you that Lynn and I have, we met several years ago, and I've just seen her take these big leaps and bounds in building her tribe, which we're going to talk about today, building a community of like-minded individuals that share the same values and goals and ambition. And at the same time, she's a wife, a mother of 2 girls, and the president of FemCity Toronto. And more recently this year in January, she became the director of the FemCity Global collectives. Am I saying that right? Because that's a big, okay. So in that position, you know, she is expanding. She's looking for leaders. She's leading leaders and getting the message out there. So welcome again, Lynn. Thank you.
Thank you. That's perfect.
Oh, yes. My goodness. I don't know. Usually I've got this down pat, and you know what? That's what happens with the live video. And so today I really wanted to talk. I think that one of the things that I've seen you do so well, and over the years, we were talking about it before the show started, is getting bums in seats and filling up your events, but more importantly, connecting women in a community-like environment. So building your tribe and connecting people. And I've never not seen an event sell out with when you're hosting it. And can we talk a little bit about that? Because do you get, like, this is something that you've been doing for years, but how do you do it? What are some of the secrets here?
Well, thanks for noticing. And they're not all sold out, but you know what? A lot of them are. And yeah, I think there are a few things that happened for that. Like if I think back when I first started participating in events at all, so I was part of a board which helped me learn about events, and it was a larger one in Toronto, a network marketing company that I was working really closely with, and so we had a monthly event. So I was kind of in on, like, I didn't know really what to do, but I was part of it, and then I was on stage for it, and so it was part of what I would be doing is to be sharing it with people. And so I think right there I got over the fear of asking about it, because I had to. It wasn't just me, it was a whole group. So that was a little piece of kind of getting over, like, okay, am I going to share it? Like, well, people will say yes or no. That's okay. I'll just put it out there. Yeah. And then over time, I also decided to make it like manageable. Like, what was the right amount of number? Because you cannot think that you are going to fill a room of 100 people when you really don't have a network to do so, or we don't have enough lead time to really make it happen, or you know, a marketing budget to make it happen, or enough leverage of other people. So I think of being realistic and starting off at a place where you can win, right?
Love it. Yes.
But if you think you can get 20 people to come, then try for 30. Right? And then don't be just too disappointed if it ends up at 26.
Yes. I love that.
I think because sometimes people go for something that is bigger than they really are. It's just where they're at, right? It's just where they're at. It's not going to happen. And then they get discouraged and they think, I can't do it and I suck. But you don't. It's just where it's at. You got to grow your visibility, and you got to grow, you know, that know, like, trust. And everybody think, okay, if she's doing it, maybe we should check it out.
I love that. And Shelly shares here, like, start where you can win. I think that's a proactive approach to business, and instead of a reactive one.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow. Love it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
something you said that was really important was that you are also nurturing your relationships in building up that community and your network. And so I know that you speak a lot about this, but what are some of those things you've learned along the way in keeping people connected and leading them as well?
I think in keeping them connected is, and you're great at this, Leigh, is creating communities. So, speaking to that audience that is there's a bunch of people and everybody's coming from a little bit different place. But if I am who I say I am all the time, I'm going to attract the people that like me, that want to be around me, and that want to be part of that community. So to me, that's easy. But it's funny how a lot of times people think they have to be somebody else. And then
Yeah.
the community can crumble when you can't keep up whatever it is you think you're supposed to be or think you should be presenting yourself as. So when you just be yourself, the right people come, and leading them is simple. Again, it comes back to brand. And you and I talked about this a lot when we first met, because I took one of your courses and that came into it a lot, is, your brand is going to attract people who are also into that brand and
Yes.
all those
Yes.
sort of list of things that you represent in your brand, your personal brand. And so creating a community around that is like, that's the things we talk about. Those are the things we stand for. And, at it and keeping people connected together is like make introductions. It's easy to do. It's all stuff that's easy to do. Just do it. You listen, be a good listener.
Yes, that's huge. And, I think along the way that you've always been about the relationships and helping the women around you. And so let's dive a little bit behind the scenes there, because this year I think you stepped outside of your comfort zone a little bit in taking on this new role as being a director of the FemCity collectives. And what were some of the things that you did to prepare to step into that role, or how long did it take from when you thought about doing it to like when you did it? What was that journey like for you? Because I know a lot of people are thinking about stepping into bigger roles themselves that are watching right now, and may have gone through or are going through exactly what you went through. But can you share a little bit about what that was like?
Well, part of it was really easy, but there was a part of it at the beginning that wasn't. And that's probably where I should start. And, I was deeply, deeply committed to a business that after a while, I was like, I'm not sure if I want to continue at the level that I'm doing. So what if I step back? What does that mean? Am I disappointing people? Am I letting somebody down? Am I letting myself down? All of that kind of stuff came into it. So I had to make a really, really big decision about, am I going to make room for something else? That was the hard part. I didn't even know that this was coming down the pipeline about FemCity. I didn't.
You had that nudge, that gut feeling that something bigger was on its way. And
Yeah, I didn't have room for everything, right? So I made room. And then I went from there to all of a sudden a conversation came up with the founder, Violet Deella of FemCity. So I'd already been running the Toronto one here, and that's all we had. That's all we had here. Everything else was in the US. One started in Ottawa. And we started talking about something that was just so in alignment with me, and I was so lit up. She's like, how can we reach more people? How can we make it easier for people to connect? How can we, have a bigger impact for women? And I'm like, oh, you are just like singing my song here. And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm willing to help. So we just had a conversation, we and, other members of the team were all talking about how can we make this happen. And so that sort of happened in the fall, and boom, in January, the FemCity collectives were launched. It was a new program, and we had a goal. I personally had a goal to launch 60 of them in a year, which is massive.
Wow.
And I think I've probably hit 50, or I don't know, I got to count, maybe 53. So I think
Lynn, I'm just getting goosebumps. Like, talk about big asks, bold asks, and big goals. That's incredible. So, wow. Okay. So systematically, that's huge. Like, how do you have the balls to do that? That's amazing. Where do you
Well, I was
the lady balls, sorry.
yeah. Well, I was partnered with amazing people, right? So I knew
Yeah.
they were going to do what they said they were going to do. And they did.
Amazing.
So I mean, I had FemCity. I mean, they were just there. They were doing the right stuff. They were doing everything the way I felt it would work. And
Yes.
so I'm like, then I'm coming along for the ride with you. Right. So we've all been doing it together. There's more than one director, by the way. So I'm not the only one doing it, but we also, I mean, there's 100 and something collectives that have launched in
Wow.
total. So
Wow.
pretty cool. And today I think we have like paperwork going out for 3 more, or it went out yesterday. So it's never ending. But how did I do it? You know what? It's my why. It's like you just tickled my why and that's it. Like, so I just feel like if it's totally in alignment that way, it's not hard. And it hasn't been hard. Leigh, it hasn't been hard at all. I haven't felt
goodness,
stressed or rushed or overworked or anything. I'm just doing what I got to do. You know?
Alignment is everything.
Yeah.
Alignment is everything. And I think that's something that we struggle with, where we're being told by a lot of people like the shoulds and what we should be doing and how it should be done and how we should feel. And a lot of people identify success with, and including myself in the past, I've identified success with being busy and overwhelmed and always doing something. And no, I mean, tell us a little bit about how you define success and how you found that alignment, because I think they're kind of connected in a way, but I don't know. Let me know.
Yeah, I think success for me is being in alignment, and it's being in alignment with my why and my beliefs and my mission. And it's like, wow, there's other people that have the same thing. So, we're partnered up. So that part was easy. But for me, success, it's not about dollars, although I've been fortunate to have been able to make money doing what I do. But it really isn't about the money at the end of the day, but the money comes, if that makes sense. Like it just does anyway, without focusing on it so hard. And that might seem really weird to some people to hear that. So like, no, I got to grind. I got to hustle. I've so let go of the word hustle in the last year or so. It used to resonate with me somehow, or I believed it did, and now it just doesn't. It's like, I don't want to hustle. Success is me getting up every day, feeling happy and healthy, doing amazing work, getting paid for it, of course, and being around people that light me up and doing what I need to do, and then having time for me and time for my family. It's about that. My kids are 11 and 14. And this time's going to go fast. So I had to take a close look at that, and have some real boundaries around what I was willing to do and not willing to do.
I hear ya. So you do a lot of travel, like for your role. Is that something that you've been able to incorporate the family with, or like, it's separate or together, or is that something?
Well, we went to Aruba recently.
Oh, nice.
But it was a retreat. It was a retreat. So it really wasn't work per se, although of course we did talk business. And we went to the Aruba Chamber of Commerce and we met the most amazing women. We spoke there, and now we are launching an Aruba chapter. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
But no, most of my travel is for pleasure.
I love that. And that you have a position where you could do that, right? Where you can work from anywhere. Technology is here for us. And do you find that when you're working with a lot of these tools, like what are some of the things that you've had to overcome, I think, to get more visible? So I know that you've recently launched a show with a bunch of other really amazing women. And can you tell us a little bit about that process? Because I think a lot of those watching today are thinking about having their own podcast or maybe writing a book, or, and you've launched this virtual TV show style event show series. I don't know what to call it, but tell us a little bit about how that came together. Because I think I'd love to hear that, and our viewers would too.
Yeah, it's called the Circle Life and Business Show. So we, it's like an online show. We do Facebook Live for some of the show, and then we record some of them. And how it came about was a group of women that all just like each other. And we all feel like we're a little bit different. We all have something different to offer. And
Yes.
Tammy Hudgen, I think you know her, she originally was the person who said to me, hey, do you think we could do that? I'm like, yeah. What do you have in mind? So it started off with, a dinner conversation, and we thought of who else we wanted to invite. But I mean, we did have to be strategic because when you're doing something like that, it's not that easy to do it on your own. You need to have a massive network. You need to be doing all the work behind the scenes yourself. But when you're spreading it between 4 people who have 4 different circles of
Yes.
influence, and they also have different experience, and they all are capable, then that makes, again, that's like many hands make light work. I would say, again, that was a fairly simple thing for us to do. We've always got a great topic. Somebody's always going through something that they're like, I think we should talk about this. And we all talk about it and try and share information to try to, help people if possible. But on the other side, we are more visible, and we're more visible to all 4 networks.
I
Right.
love that. Yes. And you're talking about something I hear a lot about lately that really resonates with me is around the idea of collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's huge. I mean, the collective there's different collectives are all about that collaboration piece, but I think you're taking that to the next level in launching different projects with groups of women and colleagues and stuff. And so have you learned along the way how to identify the right type of people to partner up with and collaborate with? Like, I know that sometimes we share different goals or values. Have you learned some things along the way about spreading responsibility and things to make sure, like managing expectations? Like that's huge, right?
Oh yeah, because I used to be the do it all girl.
Aha.
And the do it all girl gets burnt out. So yeah, that's not a good
huge
place to be. What have I learned about that? I think when you're partnering up, when collaborating with people, you really have to go with I have to go with my heart, and just how do I feel in the presence of that person. I always check everybody out on social media, on every platform, because there's certain things that just don't align with me. So if that's how it is, it's not going to happen. And I think you can look at what they've done in the past, but I think sometimes it's what you think they could do in the future is also just as important. They might just be not as far along on their journey, but it's so fun to be a part of it with them.
I hear you. I hear that. That totally sounds like an alignment, like just as far as alignment, right? Mm-hmm. So you guys are aligned in values, you're aligned your gut with your heart and soul and message. And I think that's incredible for those to hear. And I think, just alone knowing that if you are that do-it-yourselfer and do it all, that's a huge lesson to learn. I think when you take it all on yourself.
I have learned that lesson. I've also been in situations where at the beginning, we set up some rules. Who's going to take on this? Who's going to take on that? And in the end of the day, I would end up taking it on because I wouldn't want to see the other piece of it fall down. And that was a big lesson for me to go, okay, either A, I'm partnering with the wrong people for that project, perhaps, or B, it's just like kids. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
If you say it's going to be like this, you must follow through, even if there's some consequences for myself. So if something fails because of someone else's part in the project, I might have to let it fail and fall down, which I never wanted to do. Like 5 years ago, I'd be like, no, I'd be up till 4 a.m. making it happen. And now I'm like, well, if it falls through. Okay, well, it's not really my thing, but perhaps the other person will realize that they need to pick up their part. And sometimes you got to part ways. It's just what it is. It's like bless and release. This isn't working. It's okay. It's not personal.
No, I think that's important too, because there's that detachment. And also at the end of the day, like if you're showing up and doing your thing and doing your best version of you, then, that's going to ultimately, I think it circles around, and you're trusting the process.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Yes. So what I heard too was the journey and the process of also asking for help. And, it takes a village, right? And sort of, how do you reach out to the people around you to support? Like how do you create support in your journey here? Because it does take that energy to host the events and to lead other women. Like, where do you re-energize? How do you do that?
I think the re-energizing part is with my family. I've decided to do less in like running around to every single thing, and I have some boundaries which I've had for a long time about how many times I'm out of the house for work.
Yes.
And so it's
Okay.
one night a week for me. That's it. But I'm now aligned with what I'm doing with FemCity. It actually fits that. What I was doing
Mm.
before kind of didn't fit into that. It was tough to do. So it was always this like, oh, I'm trying to have this boundary, but I'm feeling guilty. So the energizing is that I like to be home. Like I'm an introverted extrovert or something. I don't know. Somebody said that one time. I do get energized being at home, but I love being with people too.
Yeah,
But
I hear you.
yeah, you asked me something at the beginning of that, and I don't think I answered. So the
So
re-energizing.
yeah, there's the how do you stay supported? I think in asking for help, and you are a leader to other leaders. So where do you get your guidance and support from?
So with FemCity Toronto, it's a fairly big group, and I have a board, and they're wonderful. I
Ooh.
love them. They all have something, and you know what? When I need them, that's my support system.
I
That
love
they
that.
will kind of talk me down if I think something's falling apart. Our venue, we found out we had an event on Monday, and on Friday
Nice.
at 10 a.m. I found out the venue didn't have my reservation and they were closed. So panic button. But you know what? I leaned on them and they're like, okay, we're going to get it figured out, and a few ideas. It all worked out great. But then with the collectives, yeah, the buck doesn't stop with me, which I'm kind of happy at this moment that it doesn't. I do
Yeah.
have our president and our founder that I can go to,
Yeah.
and they get me and I get them. And I think that is really, really unique. It doesn't always happen when you're working with other people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I can depend on them. And then I talk to my husband, and he doesn't even listen half the time, but it doesn't matter. He's just sitting there, maybe with his eyes closed, but I imagine he's listening. So I just blurt it all out, and it feels better.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Yes, you know what? You need that sounding board. You got to get
Yeah.
it out of the head and clear it out and move on, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
I hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. Challenges happen every single day when you're dealing with that many people. I mean, think of all those collectives we have and our own Toronto
Yeah.
membership and all of the members. People have questions, people have, technical issues or, asks of their own, and you got to work
Yeah.
through all of them. So it's happening all the time, but it's great.
I love that. So what's next for you? We're hitting the end of 2018. We're jumping into 2019 pretty soon. What's on tap for you? Where are you amplifying next? Oh,
I'm amplifying what I have before in our family. And, I wouldn't say that necessarily just means downtime, because I'm able to work wherever I am. So I still, I like to get up early and just get it done for the day.
mm-hmm.
But we have a really big goal with FemCity. So 2019 for me is, we're going to go from maybe 140 collectives to 500 collectives. So
Whoa, this is huge.
it's huge. We're expanding everywhere. We have a trip to Greece planned, a retreat, if anybody wants to go.
Ah.
September. But yeah, we are going big with this, and it's just organically it's happening. So it's not a matter of do we have to market a lot and do we have to, ask. It's just, I honestly believe when you do a great job and it is a good thing, it'll happen.
I love
And
that.
she told two friends, and she told two friends, and so on and so on. You remember that hair commercial?
I heard it.
Mhm.
Yep. Oh my goodness. So before we leave everybody today, I want to, I always like to keep it like to the power half hour. And I know that, I don't know. I think you used to do this. I think you still do. Like you have that window of time, right? Like your girls come home from school and you're available, and we're getting close to that time. So tell me a little bit. You mentioned boundaries earlier, and I think that I just wanted to hit back on that because, I think having boundaries and being yourself and like values and and owning that and staying in that. What maybe 2 or 3 boundaries have you had over the last 5 years where it's really helped support you in your growth? Because I think a lot of people need to hear this, because I've broken my boundaries over the years, and I need to go back to setting boundaries in my business. But you mentioned you do have some that you really have stuck to and have helped you through the years.
Yeah, one thing is people need to kind of have an appointment with me. I say
like
kind
that.
of, because there is the odd time where it's just like, no, just call me. But I do have the boundary around that, because people can be calling you at all times of day and night and have expectations. The second boundary I put up for myself, which is just, I would say in the last year or so, is I do this check with myself. Is this something I really want to do, or am I going to say yes to it because I feel like I have to or should?
Yes.
That's sort of responsibility, because something about me doesn't do well with that. I feel taken advantage of if somebody's asking me to do something over and over, and then I say yes just because I feel like I should. It's like, is it just a responsibility that I don't really have to be responsible for? So that's the other boundary that's been probably the biggest. And then for time-wise, I totally have a boundary. Yeah, I'm one night out of the house only. I still do that. If it's a weekend thing, it's only one event per month on a weekend.
I love that. Yeah.
And, my daytime stuff, I have these blocks of time. I have blocks of time. I don't have to work 10 hours a day, fortunately.
Yeah.
But I do have these blocks of time, and I don't really waver from that. It is what it is. And I'm not available the rest of the time. So
I love that. I think that's so important for us to all hear, including myself. And it's evolved. I think that once you realize like less is more, and simplifying the process, but also that success doesn't mean those 18-hour days, and that, that you can set your own rules. I mean, that's why we all started on this journey, I think, as entrepreneurs, is to really set our own lives. And I love how you set time aside for the family and make space for that, like, and stick to that. So I think these are insights that all of our viewers are going to really benefit from. And is there anything you want to add to that journey? Well, I know, there's, yeah.
I just would say that it doesn't happen overnight. So, I mean, somebody might be listening thinking, oh, well, sounds good for you, but I'm just starting. But when I was just starting, I was grinding and hustling all the time for everything. And, social media was a big opportunity for me to grow my visibility and to grow my network. And that takes time and consistency. It takes a long time. It's not a 3-4 month process. It's really years. And I think that's it. I just want people to know that, my chapter 7 is not the same as your chapter 1 sort of idea.
Well, I think that's beautiful. And I think I want to also acknowledge too, and we talked about it a little bit, is like showing up as yourself, right? And really being you all the time, and being in alignment with that. And I think that's something that we learn, that it's okay to be us, and that we don't serve everybody, that we only serve people that we're aligned with. And do you think there's certain things you've done over the years that have kept you authentic in that sense of, like, I know showing up on social media, there's so many ways you can market yourself online, and you were always about showing up and serving and carrying that through. How do you really truly do that gut check? Do you gut check every day? Is that something like this alignment with, am I on the right track? Is that a daily thing for you? Is that a mindfulness thing?
I check in a few times a year, but I don't feel like I need to every day anymore. But I do go by, what does it feel like today? Like, what's on my mind, that's on my heart? I bet somebody needs to hear this, or we need, somebody needs to talk about this. And it seems to always work out. But I started doing something. I don't know if I learned this from you. When I'm talking about anything on social media, if I was blogging, or if I was doing a talk, live somewhere, it's all around a few things. So, and I had a sticky note way back when to go, what are my 5 words that are going to guide everything I do? And that's just about brand, right? This is my personal brand, and it's actually just me. It's not like, oh, I'd like to be the girl who, no, it's not me. But, it was these few things, and those are the few things that I'm always going to talk about. And so it's not hard to talk about them, because they're really just part of me every day. One is leadership, and one's empowering women, right? Travel is another one, which is just personal, thing. And lots of people resonate with that. So I seem to attract people that like that stuff too. Family, is another one, and gratitude. So those things just guide whatever I'm going to be discussing or talking about, and it makes it easy.
So powerful. I love it. I love it. Well, I want to thank you for being part of this series. I want to let people know that we're doing a bunch of these. We're going to be releasing our interview today onto YouTube and SoundCloud and different ways they can absorb it. If you have comments and questions as you've been watching, please pop in the comments at #replay. And I want to tell everybody a little bit. I know, Lynn, you had a chance to take a quick peek at the book and Ready to Amplify, Tribe, Visibility, Impact. And you guys can check out more of the book trailers online at leighfowler.com/book. My job is to help you feel good with content strategies that help you align with your tribe and get more visibility so you can make a bigger impact with that alignment and flow. And I really, I love to lead with inspired content. And I think the main thing what we're hearing in a lot of these interviews is to really be true to you. And in order to shine and show up, you need to show up and serve first, lead with service and heart, and the rest will follow. And I just want to thank everyone for being part of this, and let me know what you think. And what was that? Sorry.
I'm not sure if anyone else is there, and if Leigh is gone and it's just me. Have a great day, and check in back here and leave your comments with #replay.
All right. She's great. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thanks again.